Thank you so much again for joining me on this channel. As always, I'm very grateful for all your previous views, likes, subscriptions and shares. I thought we'd have a look at Saint Nicholas, who of course transformed and mutated over the years into Santa Claus or Father Christmas. But what are his origins? As you know, I love an origin story. Well, his feast day is on the 6th of December. I'm very sorry I'm late, but if you're watching this in June, then I'm early. Believed to have been born on the 15th of March 270 CE, St. Nicholas didn't do any significant writings himself, and none of his contemporaries seem to have written anything about him either. Doesn't mean that he wasn't important, it just means all the evidence and the sources is after his death. He was born in what we now know as modern-day Turkey, in the coastal town of Patara, which also was a major port. Much of the city is now in ruins, and there are still archaeological digs going on to this day. Nicholas came from a very wealthy family. Sadly though, both of his parents died when he was relatively young. Rather than splurging all the money he inherited on himself, he used it to help those who were less fortunate than him, in particular children. And that sort of makes sense, doesn't it? If he knew what it was like to have that emotional wallop of losing a mum and dad, then it makes sense he would want to help those around him too. As well as being very devout, he was also a very skilled theologian, and he must have been to become Bishop of Myra. The word bishop comes from the Greek words epi, meaning above, and skopos, meaning looking. It means you're overseeing, you're overlooking, you're tending, you're looking after those men, women and children that are in your area. In other words, as a bishop, you have a responsibility to care. Things got a bit complicated though for Nicholas. The Roman emperor at the time, Diocletian, wasn't a big fan of Christians. In fact, Diocletian is a very intriguing character. Obviously, being a Roman, he enjoyed worshipping lots of gods, and he wasn't a big fan of Christianity. And so when his son-in-law decided to take that passion even further by persecuting Christians, let's just say Diocletian didn't exactly stand in the way. By the way, there's a certain gentle irony that the emperor after Diocletian, Emperor Constantine, of course, became a Christian and therefore made Christianity the official religion of the Roman Empire. But let's get back to Nicholas. How did this affect him? Well, he was thrown into prison. And the story goes that apparently the prisons were so full of clergy, bishops, deacons, priests and so forth, apparently there wasn't even room for your average murderer. Nicholas survived prison and then found himself in quite an important role in history. He was at the Council of Nicea in 325. As mentioned earlier, Constantine, the successor of Diocletian, became a Christian and wanted to bring together the church to work out how to deal with some important issues. There was a bit of an argument in the church about whether Jesus was actually the Son of God and divine, or maybe he was just a specially created being. Either way, it was a time for unity, and it's kind of cool to think that Nicholas was actually there at the time. Now, what is a story about a saint without some of those miraculous tales? Well, one involves a baby and some bath water. The story goes that Nicholas was in town and a woman was so excited to go and meet him that she forgot she left her baby in the bath, and in fact the bath was actually over a fire to try and keep the water warm. When she came back, she feared that maybe things had gone horribly wrong, maybe a house had burnt down, etc. But no, there was the baby, happy, gurgling away in some nice warm water. He became popular throughout the rest of Europe. And it was interesting how the Dutch in particular took him to heart and his name began to change. It went from St. Nicholas or Santa Claus. And of course, then you get into the realms of him becoming that popular figure that we see today. I will put a link to another video I made some time ago, which includes some of the ideas and themes around Christmas, which explains, as best I can, how he became the jolly figure we know today. As well as being the patron saint of Greece and Russia, he's also the patron saint of the cities of Aberdeen and Liverpool. And of course today he is the patron saint of children, people who work on the sea, pawnbrokers, and bizarrely enough, even wolves. My understanding is that to protect your livestock, you would pay homage to Saint Nicholas and it would make sure that the wolves wouldn't attack your sheep. Anyway, it was fun putting this together, and I do hope this has been of some use. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you are able to like, comment, and subscribe, then please do so. And as always, enjoy your learning.